Hello, this is Super Godzilla Gaming. This is going to be my personal, I guess, review for Godzilla the game for the PlayStation 4. Several people in the comments asked me about doing a review like this, so I figured I would voice my thoughts on what I thought of the game. Now, I guess to get this out of the way, this game was not received too well in markets outside of Japan. In Japan, it received pretty good reviews. Nothing spectacular. A lot of the Japanese share a lot of the same sentiments as people internationally. My thoughts? Well, I liked it. I mean, I wouldn't have made, almost 300 parts for this series alone if I didn't enjoy it. I really enjoy how accurate the monsters are to their movie counterparts. Almost every move they use feels like some kind of Easter egg. Probably my favorite is Anguirus's bite. I believe that's pulled from his 1955 film, from Godzilla Raids Again. But I guess I should talk about the highlights. Outside of the monster accuracy, I didn't mind. I thought the graphics looked nice. I mean, they were going for a more stylized look, according to reviews, and it does look pretty stylized. I mean, it was ported from the PS3, so it's not the pinnacle of graphical prowess, I guess. But yeah, the monsters play nice. I mean, the controls are, they call them tank controls, and that felt very natural. It did take a few days to get adjusted to it. I have never played a game like this, a game quite like this before, but it really fit this style of game. So once you get the controls down, it feels really smooth, really natural. I guess the only problem is that it might be a little slower paced. We're a little accustomed to the Atari Pipeworks games, and those are much faster in comparison to this. Turning is really slow, and even Rodan, he's considered one of the fastest monsters in the Godzilla universe, and he's one of the slowest monsters in this game in terms of turning and walking and all that. As far as the modes go, like God of Destruction, King of Kaiju, yeah, there is repetitive gameplay, I guess, but I don't know, for whatever reason, that did not bother me at all. I actually, after getting the Platinum Trophy for this game, I actually went back, reset the data, and just did it all again. I did not mind the going back and collecting, G cells? Just monster cells and evolution energy and all that. It just gave me something else to unlock. Because once you have evolved all your monsters completely, unfortunately there's not much else to do. You can do random runs with your monsters, but that won't really account for anything. I mean, I'm trying to think. The only stats that are recorded outside of monster cells and evolution energy, King of Kaiju mode, it records your best time, but it doesn't record best times for every monster. It only saves it for one, whichever one was the fastest. And in God of Destruction, the only monster they record the record for, the highest, the best height you reach, is for Godzilla, Heisei Godzilla. And all the other monsters are just for fun. They get gold stars, or silver stars. Silver if you don't reach the final stage, and gold if you do. This includes the Invader monsters and the Defender monsters. Both of them get gold and silver stars, whereas Heisei Godzilla's height is recorded. I really wish that they had allowed every individual monster have a recorded height in God of Destruction, just so that you had some kind of incentive to go back and maybe break records with every single monster. But as it is, it's just Heisei Godzilla. And of course, one of the biggest complaints is the online. I have to kind of agree. The online, I'm okay with the lag for the most part, due to the slower pace of slower paced nature of the game. I don't. The lag isn't as much a big of a problem compared to other more precise other games that require more precision. More precision. What really kills it is the balance. The online feels extremely tacked on, and it's really noticeable how tacked on the online is. Like, it's very bare bones. You have the option of going against either 1v1 or 3-player free-for-alls. There aren't any team battles. You can fight your buddies, but I only tested it once, and I don't believe you can actually choose who you fight. You open up a lobby, and people just kind of walk in if they feel like it. Anybody from your buddies list. You can't actually choose who comes in. So if you're trying to fight somebody specific, and you have lots of other people on, and they jump in, then they're out of luck. They can't join you. The monsters were definitely not balanced for online. Of course, the one that always comes to mind is Biolante. She is a complete beast on online. Her charge attack, she's really slow, but her charge attacks and her, emergency dodge, the R2 I think it is, she just has insane reach, insane hitboxes on her moves. If you're a tooth and claw fighter like Anguirus or Jit Jaguar, good luck getting in close. She will knock you away. The only really effective way of taking her down are with beam attacks. But again, not every monster has beams. And her R2 lasts so long that she can outlast basically any other monster emergency dodge or their beam attacks and barely take anything as a result. I've played her online a few times, and I'm pretty sure I won every time. I even had an opportunity to go and had people team up on me, and I would still win with about a quarter of my health remaining. It's incredible. Even with the monsters that are considered really good online, like Mecha King Ghidorah is really good. Godzilla 2014 is really strong, but none of them hold a candle to her. The only ones that can really fight her back are probably Burning Godzilla, because his beam is so incredibly strong and has enough knockback to keep her at bay. Really, the monsters weren't designed for balance. They were just designed to have fun in the single-player campaign. I guess I'm kind of glad that they added the online feature, but I'm just not a fan of the very few options they have when they could have had just a few more. The Versus 3 online is, you're either teaming up against one person, or you're trying to have both opponents trying to make it a fair match, but there aren't many instances where you'll find other people who follow that code of conduct. Like, I'd like to try and have fair matches. Like, if somebody has more health than the other, I'll try and whittle them down a little bit just to make everything fair. But if I do that, both other opponents just go straight for me instead. They don't watch the health bars of each other. It doesn't matter. Like, they'll take you out if you have very little HP. I can understand going after like a Biolante player, and let me see. Like, if I'm playing Rodan and somebody else is Jet Jaguar and there's a Biolante, half the time, for whatever reason, the Jet Jaguar player will go after me instead of trying to team up on the Biolante. It's really bizarre the way some people think this whole thing works. But I guess it can't really be helped. It would have been really fun to have like team battles of some kind somehow. I'm not sure why they couldn't have 4-player monsters online. I could understand in like the story mode that might be a little difficult to handle with all the cities blowing up and everything. But with online, I don't know, just wipe the cities, I don't know, so that it doesn't lag as hard. Then again, with how laggy the online is with just 3 players, 4-player probably would have been completely unbearable. Oh well, maybe something to save for another game. Another feature, of course, that I really wish was added was the local multiplayer. There have been a few times where I wanted to test things like Mechagodzilla 2's head popping off. I had to do that with the online feature, trying to find an online buddy to play with, and they helped me out with finding out the details, the specifics of Mechagodzilla 2's face exploding. But that would have been really handy if it was just part of local multiplayer. I'm really surprised that was not incorporated, even just against a CPU or something, just so you can train a little bit somewhere, somehow. But for now, the best you can learn a monster is by jumping straight into either God of Destruction or King of Kaiju mode. There isn't really any other way to train with a monster to learn their moves and all that. At the very least, they give almost every monster a help guide. You just press the touchpad on the controller, and there's a help section, and it shows you every monster's moves. So that's really helpful. It's too bad I didn't learn about that until, like a dozen monsters in? I guess better late than never. But yeah, I know I've talked ad nauseum about the negatives of this game, but I really did have a really fun time with this title. I think it's really awesome how film accurate the monsters are. It feels like such a treat after nothing but the Atari Pipeworks games for the last few years being the definitive Godzilla games, and finally having this game, just how well monsters transition from the movies to the game. Of course, the only problem is the balancing factor, but I think that could be rectified with a few changes. Just switch up some hitboxes, or lower or speed up monster attacks to make them a little more balanced. Give, I guess, more super armor to monsters like Rodan. He could definitely use some super armor. Just like how Anguirus has super armor for like half his moves. That's just what I think anyway. I think the diorama mode is interesting, but it's not something I really go back to. I really wish you could place more monsters on the field, make it much more chaotic. I don't see any reason to hold back as far as the figures go, but that's just me. I do like the little selection of arenas you can go to and all the different poses you can put them in. I just wish you had slightly more freedom in where you can put the monsters, instead of having them pre-designated on a grid. But otherwise, it's a cute little feature. And I especially like the filters. There's a monochrome filter and a special video filter where they slow down the gameplay to like 24 frames a second, but it makes them very movie-like. I thought the monochrome filter was really cool, making it completely black and white. It looks very authentic. I just wish that the stats would also go in black and white, like your meters and your radar and the G-force operator. I wish those had also gone and fit the style. But that's just a minor complaint. I had fun with it. Otherwise, there's not much else in the way of options in this game. But still, this was, for being a game that ran on a really small budget, and only grew because I believe of fan demand, because of fan interest. I thought that did really, really well. And I really look forward to seeing what they could do if they get greenlit for some kind of sequel. I really think they could pull out all the stops with a sequel, like a better story mode, a more fleshed out story mode. I guess, yeah, like I had mentioned earlier, having every monster's runs being recorded in some way, like the best record for every God of Destruction mode run for every monster instead of Heisei Godzilla. I also look forward to maybe any future editions. I remember they've mentioned specifically in the past Zone Fighter. They showed interest in him. Grand King Ghidorah. He was going to be added, but they put in Heisei Ghidorah instead. I guess it had something to do with the crazy amount of moves Grand King Ghidorah has. I'd still really like to see him show up. Baggin, or Bagan, however you call him. I call him Baggin. They've shown interest in him. I thought that's really cool. But I think they could go really far. They've already introduced a lot of fan favorites in this one, so now they can go a little bit more into the obscure territory. They're still missing a few other fan favorites like Megalon. I'm a little surprised he's not in here. And Mogira, he's not in here either. So they do have a little bit more to work with as far as the sequel goes, and monster edition wise. I don't see any DLC coming for this game, although it would be a pleasant surprise. If there was any DLC being added, I could see them adding the 2016 Godzilla. But I'd kind of rather see them work on a sequel or some kind of follow-up that improves on what this game introduced. But anyway, I've rambled on enough as far as this goes. I really enjoy this game. I would say it's probably my third favorite Godzilla game. Super Godzilla and Godzilla Save the Earth being my top two. I don't see anything really getting above those. This one would have, if it was if it had a little more to it. And then again, Super Godzilla's at the top, and that doesn't have much outside of a story mode. That's just the nostalgia talking. But I did really enjoy this. I just wish there was a little more to it outside of just a really tacked on multiplayer and non-record saving single player modes, I guess. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on the game. I had a ton of fun with it. I just wished other people had fun with it too, but it's not for everybody. Even for Godzilla fans, it's not really for everybody, but I do love the heart that the developers put into this thing. And I really look forward to seeing what else they can do with it, where they can take this franchise. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Godzilla the game for the PlayStation 4. I hope you, enjoyed the review. I hope you can see where I'm coming at as far as my opinions go with this title. So yeah, fun game, good game. I liked it, and I look forward to seeing where they go in the future. Bandai Namco, where they take this franchise in the future. But that's all from me for now. This has been Super Godzilla Gaming, and I hope to be able to talk to you all soon. Take it easy.